One of the most significant features of HTML5 form controls is the ability to validate most user data without relying on JavaScript. In this tutorial, you will learn how to construct and validate a form using only HTML5 and CSS. Let's get started. Open a text editor and create a new HTML file. Okay, my case Visual Studio Code is preferred. Create new file, name it index.html and save this file in any folder. My case HTML form. Okay, now save this file. Okay, now create a HTML page. Just type HTML5. Okay, enter and enter your page title. Form validation using HTML5 only. Okay, now I am going to create a simple HTML form. Okay, add form elements, label for full name. Okay, enter full name. Okay, and first name. Okay, name, first name. Okay, now add another input field, last name, input field will be text and the name, last name. Okay, add another label for date of birth. Okay, now add input field, input type will be date. Okay, now enter the name of this input element, date of birth. We can give a name DOB. Okay, now add another label for age, okay, add input field, age number, form element name will be age. Okay, now add another label for email, add input field. Type of this field will be email. Okay, and the name will be email. Okay, now add another field, phone number. Input field type will be number, and name of the field will be phone number. Okay, now add another label for address. Okay, now add a text area field. Okay, name will be address. Okay, now add a button for form submitting. Okay, the type of the button will be submit, and enter the value submit. In this form I add all possible input element so that you can understand the all possible attributes of HTML file for form handling. Okay, now open this file in a web browser. Okay, now style this form using CSS. Okay, add a div tag. Okay, okay, now create a new file and name it style.css and save this file inside HTML form. Okay, now add style for div. Div padding 20 pixel. Okay, okay, now add this style sheet in heading tag. Okay, link is style.css file. Okay, now reload and see the change. Okay, now also add style for label. Okay, label display block. Okay, and font size and font family. Okay, set the font family. Okay, now reload and see the changes. Okay, now style the input element. Input label. Okay, set the margin. Okay, now reload and see the form. Okay, now I am gonna validate this form using only HTML5. Okay, HTML5 validation attributes are required minimum length and maximum length, minimum and maximum value, and pattern. At first, I am going to use required attribute. The boolean required attribute, if present, indicates that the user must specify a value for the input before the warning form can be submitted. Okay. Now use the required attribute. Okay. Now reload and try to submit the form. You cannot proceed because all of this input form element is required. Okay. Required attribute supported by the following, along with the select and text form control elements. Now I am going to use minimum length and maximum length attributes. The minimum length and maximum length attributes define the minimum and maximum number of characters that user can enter into an input or text area elements. Okay, here set the minimum length of first name with minimum length attribute set to 20 character. Okay, and you can add the maximum length of first name (30 character). Okay, okay, reload this HTML page and enter first name and last name and try to submit this form and you will see. Okay, so enter greater than 20 or less than 30 character and try to submit and you will see. Okay, now try to submit. Okay, syntax of minimum length and maximum length is minimum length attribute equal double quote and the number of characters. Okay, min and max attributes. The min and max attributes define the minimum and maximum values that is acceptable and valid for the input containing the attribute. Syntax for min values by input type. Here, date, month, week, time, number, range, and date time local is the input type, and date format is year, month, day, and month format is year, month. Okay, and so on. And this is the example code. Okay, now go to the form and try to add this attribute. Okay, add min attribute and max attribute. Okay, now set the value for min and max for date type. Okay, add 2000, month 12 and date 30, and the maximum date will be 2000 21, month will be 12, and date will be 30. Okay, here at first display the current date, but initial date is 2000. Okay, now save this file and reload. Okay, now reload and see. Try to enter a date. At first display current date, but initial date is 2000. Okay, and the maximum date here is 2021. Okay, change the value and see again. Okay, now reload and see the initial date. Okay, 1972. Okay, and this is the syntax for max values by input type. Okay, now I will use the pattern attribute. The pattern attribute specifies a regular expression the form controls value should match. Syntax of pattern: input type, name, pattern, regular expression, digits. Okay, okay, for email I'm gonna use pattern attributes. So go to HTML form and add pattern attribute in email field. Okay, remember that all of the HTML element must have required attribute for validating using other HTML5 attributes. Okay, now add this pattern inside pattern. Okay, okay, now reload and try to submit form. Okay, age email, enter an email, try to submit and see email not match because we have used at Gmail. So this field only accept the Gmail. Okay, now enter. Okay, now try to submit. Okay, now color the input elements when it is invalid. So update style sheet, go to style.css and add style for input field. When invalid, border color will be dashed red. Okay, and the line will be 2 pixel. Okay, now reload and see. And also focus the input field for invalid input. Input invalid focus. Okay, and add background color or background image, linear gradient with red and light green. Okay, now reload. Okay, if you like this video, give a like for this video, comment and share. Thank you so much for watching this video.